The internet is screwed. Susan Wojcicki is stepping down as CEO of YouTube. We're going to look at the Tetris movie trailer, which seems absolutely hype. The PS Plus editions for Feb are absolutely insane. And Game Pass is apparently killing sales. We're going to look at all of that in this video. Susan Wojcicki is stepping down as CEO of YouTube, and this is an insane thing because she's been around for 9 years, and that's kind of, I think it's fair to say that during the 2014s is kind of when things started to go downhill in terms of like being more favorable to companies as opposed to YouTubers. But you get a sort of a unique opinion on my perspective, which is that I am a incredibly small YouTuber who barely gets anything negatively said about them, nor have anything been done about them. So in the grand scheme of things, I feel like it's not going to affect me much, but maybe it might affect my future. Who knows? But in addition to the fact that Susan is stepping down, we have Neil Mohan who's stepping up into that position, and it's kind of suspicious to consider that he is the kind of person who was considering having NFTs in YouTube and things like that, and the removal of the dislike button. So being the product, or the chief product officer, he would have had to oversee those sorts of massive decisions that affect everyone who uses the platform. So in a way, I can absolutely see things either staying the same, getting worse, but not a lot to suggest that it's going to get any better. It could stay the same, whereby YouTube dislikes still are nowhere to be seen, that companies are still going to get favorable advertising dollars, and most YouTubers are going to get stuff, and also the whole idea of the use of it's hard to say bad language, because the problem is that people in my part of the world swear a lot, so it's just normal language to us, and it's hard to kind of differentiate that. But granted, you can use a lot of euphemisms. You're kind of getting the idea across. There you go, either trying to insult someone or just having a friendly back and forth with a mate. But that's just how it is. I could absolutely, again, see this getting either worse or staying the same. I can't see it getting better, considering that, again, like I said, Neil was definitely in favor of YouTube having NFTs, supporting that, and also the whole removal of dislikes, and who knows what else in the background he's been kind of promoting. So it'll be interesting to see how things go forward, because it's always scary to see the management change, and when management does change, you can never predict what's going to happen. And I feel for all of the bigger YouTubers, which is pretty much everyone, because it is frightening, and you kind of need to steer clear of getting into trouble, make sure that you're all kosher, and then once you kind of have a firm grasp of what's going on, which does take time, then you can kind of start making your moves, but just don't put all your eggs in one basket. I think that's pretty much the fair statement right there. It seems not all is well in the world of Game Pass and Microsoft. So, with the CMA lawsuit that's going on, where the European body of government is actually scrutinizing and heavily scrutinizing Microsoft, Microsoft had to straight up and come out and say that Game Pass does in fact cannibalize the sales of base games, and that the examples that they give us, the public, which is something that they didn't want us to know, is that the examples they've been giving us has been completely cherry-picked to oblivion, and that's kind of why it doesn't really work. So at the end of the day, it seems that people are playing more games on Game Pass, sure, but because they played and finished it, they are not gonna buy it separately, because why would you? There is absolutely no incentive to. So the cannibalization of sales is something that Microsoft didn't want us to find out, but because the legal authorities are involved, they cannot lie, and it is an insane thing to think about. Just imagine that for a moment. Reported by GameIndustry.biz. So it did redact the actual number of decline in base game sales, but I imagine it might be quite a bit. If I were to take a guess, I want to say around 28 to 35%, which seems oddly specific, but I feel like that's kind of in line with the way in which things are working. But Microsoft really wants Activision Blizzard so badly that they're able to look at the lies that they've told us as the gaming consumers in order to be able to benefit themselves. This is an insane thing to think about. So it'll be funny to see how things go, and I just can't imagine what people think. And I feel like most people don't care because they're like, cool, we get games, we don't have to pay for them. It's more on the developers and the publishers, but some are getting great deals, which seem to be a minority because a significant majority seem to be more affected by the declining of actual box sales and why they don't want to be part of Xbox Game Pass. So I absolutely see a reason as to why you would never want to purchase a game if you played it on Game Pass, because I would never want to go back to an old game. That's why I always buy it if I want to play something and not rely on PS Plus, because I already own more than like half the actual PS Plus library that's currently available, if not more so than that. But it's interesting to see how, because in addition to this, the European Union also suggested a brilliant idea to completely break up Activision and Blizzard. But the thing is, it's the King part that's most important, which I'm interested is fascinating to see that isn't being included in Microsoft's argument, because ideally that's what they would want the most. But that's just kind of me interjecting because that's kind of where a lot of the money is. So take it for whatever it's worth. It doesn't look like it's going well for Microsoft. In fact, they're under heavy scrutiny, which they absolutely deserve to be. But when I say they deserve to be, it's because it is something that is is going to change the landscape in a massive way. And you can't look at that and be like, we cannot let this fly without at least looking into it under every crack and crevice to make sure that this isn't going to snowball into something significantly worse. And if it does, then that's when the government has to come in, sue the company, and then split them apart. But the thing is, more often than not, that's not really a thing that happens when mergers occur. So it's like the whole deal with Ticketmaster. They want Ticketmaster to be split up from the company that bought it, whose name I can't remember off the top of my head. But again, that's a very unlikely situation that Microsoft is going to find themselves in. But attempting to split Activision and Blizzard, possibly. But then what happens to King? Does King remain with Activision? Does that have to split as well into its own company? What's the deal there? It'll be interesting to see how things go forward. So definitely keeping eyes peeled on that. Let's have a look at the PlayStation Plus editions for the month of February. So we've got, for Premium and Extra, we've got Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown. For PS4, Borderlands 3, PS4, PS5, Earth Defense Force, PS4, Horizon Forbidden West, PS4, PS5, I Am Setsuna, PS4, Lost Sphere, PS4, Oninaki, PS4. Oh god, these three are going to be good together. Outriders, PS4, PS5. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, PS4, Scarlet Nexus, PS4, PS5, Tekken 7, PS4, Forgotten City, PS4, PS5, and The Quarry, PS4, PS5, and that is a solid lineup to have, absolutely, because my personal recommendations are Borderlands 3, Earth Defense Force, I'm Setsuna, Lost Sphere, and Oninaki, all three of those. Resident Evil 7, if you for some reason don't have it. Scarlet Nexus was fun. It's just, I think that I could probably easily recommend every game on this list, though say some like Ace Combat 7, that would be a little bit more limited because it depends on whether or not you're into flight sims. So generally a really good lot of games. I think the only one I probably wouldn't recommend, even if it is on PS Plus, is Outriders, but that's yeah. Essential games, so those are available for everyone, which are Destiny 2 Beyond Light, Resident Evil the game, Mafia Definitive Edition, Ollie Ollie World. Again, all four of these absolute bangers. I haven't jumped into Destiny yet, but we'll look to do that. Now, classics, this is where I kind of have some issue, is Destroy All Humans, which is the PS4 re-release, the PS4 port of the PS2 game, and that's added into the classics technically, so that's the only one I have beef with. But otherwise we have Harvest Moon Back to Nature, Legend of Dragoon, and Wild Arms 2, all three of which are absolutely excellent additions. Hopefully they add trophies, but if they don't right away, they might do so later on or in the future. So worth having a look at. And then I think this just lists out all of the games that are currently on the service, and likely just when they've been added as a part of PS Plus Extra and Premium tiers. The following PS5s are available, so that's what's just currently available. So yeah, in a whole, as a whole, an excellent series of additions. Again, very high quality games, while some are older than others, of course. It's worth mentioning that it's great to have. I mean, the fact of the matter is I own a significant majority of these games, so I'm going to be losing my my premium in favor of Essential, because again, that's just me personally, because I own way too many games. I go to my library, I'll see 1,000 games. So if you aren't in if you don't own a lot of games, if your library is a little bit barren, then I can absolutely see Extra being a great addition. Premium very much depends on whether you want to get those classic games, but Extra absolutely. So yeah, it was worth just sort of looking at this list here. The Tetris movie trailer has dropped, and it looks very interesting, and I definitely wanted to kind of react to it with you guys because there's so much to talk about. So let's just kind of jump into it and have a look.
Tetris. 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 It's the perfect game.
God, this movie looks so good.
It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen.
No, because
I played for 5
a Tetris movie trailer seems like such a weird thing to have.
It's poetry, art, and math all working in magical synchronicity. It's the perfect game. Tetris.
Tetris.
Tetris. Tetris.
Tetris. I don't get it.
It's a combination of tetra, Greek for
Marv,
four,
okay.
and tennis.
Tennis.
The Russian inventor, he likes tennis.
I'm gonna be completely honest, I didn't know Tetris was actually Tetra and tennis put together. That's an interesting thing, if that is true. But I'm not gonna double check that, I'm just gonna take it for what it is worth. But yeah, like already like this movie trailer goes way too hype. And I'm feeling it right now. Having the final countdown in the background, I think, is what's doing it for me. But it goes so much harder later on, it's not even funny.
This game
Oh yeah, the game was made in Russia. True.
With you. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Hank, only 10 other people in the world have seen what you're about to see. It's called the Game Boy.
Package it with Tetris. Can you get us the rights?
Oh man, the Game Boy.
The Soviet Union had worldwide rights. Nothing gets out easily. I'm gonna go to Moscow.
You're walking into a country that still considers America enemy numero uno.
Man, this feels like a spy movie, to be completely honest.
Talk to your wife about this first.
Pioneers have to bet the house to win.
But not literally.
Listen. Have you ever heard our apartment this quiet before?
This is the inventor of Tetris.
Your game is brilliant. I'm gonna make it.
Oh, that remix in the background, the music. Oh, like I have chills going down my back. That is... It sounds so good. The soundtrack is nailing it, like... because it gets even better.
Have you ever negotiated with the Soviets?
We're here for Tetris.
Вы все здесь только ради денег.
What do you say? I don't speak Russian.
The most powerful man in Communist Party is watching you and your family.
Do you know where your husband is?
What the hell is going on?
The world is changing, and Soviet Union will not be left behind.
You want to play with the big boys?
That Tetris remix in the background, oh my god.
This is insane.
We can't protect you.
Sometimes you gotta forget the rules.
Damn, I got the music in my... I got the song stuck in my head now. This is so hype. It has no reason to be.
They're lying. Everybody's lying.
The cavalry is coming.
We don't have time.
I have a plan.
Oh, that pixelization.
The kings of cliffhangers.
Not too bad.
God, that seems so hype. Wait, hold on. What's the date?
Not too bad.
Oh yeah, March 31st. Okay, there you go. God, this... Man, this trailer is way too hype. But at the end of the trailer, it's supposed to be the president of Nintendo, if I remember right. I heard I saw a comment about that, but that is hype. So the soundtrack is carrying the significant majority of the trailer, but still, it's like it has no reason to be as hype. Or it feels like it's going to be really good, and I'm really excited to watch it. But god damn, it's like I don't even know what to say. It's the kind of thing that would leave you speechless. It's like, how do you make a Tetris movie that doesn't involve Tetris blocks talking to each other? Is you make it about the history of Tetris. It's like, how would you make a Pac-Man movie? Ignoring the fact that there's like Pac-Man TV shows, make it an over-dramatized version of the history of Pac-Man if it's interesting enough. And like, I could see so much like really good sort of political intrigue, and I mean, the music. Cannot say enough good things about the music. It is just genuinely really well put together. God damn. I'm hype. I'm very hype, and I'm definitely going to be watching this with some people who I know who are interested in Tetris, but not necessarily in this movie, and we're going to have a great time. It's going to be great. I have nothing but positive things to say, so I'm just going to hop off the